Hey everyone, it's Kevin here. It occurs to me that I should probably explain what the heck this game is even about. I left that out of the channel trailer, so you might be wondering what's going on. Um, so here it is. It is a black square with some color dots. Took me 6 months, folks. This is a very crude representation of my game world. This black square is a galaxy, and all of these colored dots are star systems. And all these star systems are going to have planets and maybe some space stations orbiting them. And they're randomly colored and randomly distributed. So technically, my game world is procedurally generated, but there's so little in it that it's not really a designed level. What else? The player, I have this little tiny dot right here for a sense of scale. To fly across the whole galaxy takes only about 2 minutes. You travel pretty fast, but that's for a very good reason, as I'll explain in a minute. Um, the star systems each have shops. So you can go to these shops and buy some resources, and you can then sell those resources at a different star system for a higher price, hopefully, if you're a good trader. And the economy is based on trading and selling, or buying and selling. And there's going to be lots, like hundreds of AI ships all flying around from stars to star, buying and trading based on the current prices of things. So when a star has lots of a resource, the resource is cheap, and when they have very little, it gets expensive. And so all the traders say, hey, I can buy something really cheap here and sell it really expensive here. And so then you see a bunch of the traders flock to this location, buy them out of something, and they all move to this star and make a profit. So the hotspots for making money kind of change over the course of the game. And if the player so desires, they can partake in this and actually do some trading and make some money. That is probably the least interesting part of the game for me. I know people are going to do this, and I want them to be able to because the economy is actually very interesting. If it works out the way I'm expecting and the way I plan on it, it'll be pretty cool. But the whole game is about making money, and there's other ways to do that. You can do some asteroid mining. I have this circle here. This is my own, like I call it my Oort cloud. It generates comets and asteroids and just hurls them into the center. Actually, maybe not the center, because then they would all conglomerate here. But anyway, it sends these kind of rocks and stuff floating into the galaxy, and then you'll just happen upon them. Maybe some of them will be on your mini map or something, and then you can destroy them if you have good enough weapons, and you can get some free resources that way. So, um, speaking of weapons, there's going to be a decent amount of combat in the game. That's what I'm most excited about. The resources you get can be used and sold to gain upgrades to your ship. So you'll be able to upgrade things like your weapons, your armor, your combat speed, stuff like that. So this is necessary because there are a couple factions in the game. There are the outlaws and there's the police, and they're at this constant war. And there's going to be dozens and dozens of them active at any one time, as well as the hundreds of traders. So whenever they come across each other, they'll just be engaged in this epic battle, and it'll happen whether the player is around or not. So it's possible for the player to just happen upon some derelict ships or some wreckage of a battle, which would be pretty cool. Like this world's actually doing stuff, even when you're not around. And I know lots of games try to do this, but you don't always get that sense. Like if you play a game like Far Cry and you see a bear and a tiger fight each other, you think that's cool, but it's very unlikely that the programmers are wasting resources having those interactions like where the player can't even see them. But in this game, because of it's going to be fairly simplistic graphics and the scope isn't enormous, that literally everything the player sees is happening whether they see it or not. And that's exciting to me. So, if the player does a bunch of bad stuff, they can actually join the outlaws. Or if they do a bunch of good stuff, they can join the police. or they can remain neutral. And through combat, you can like steal resources and upgrades and stuff. So that can be pretty lucrative. There's mining, the asteroid mining can be lucrative, and the trading can be lucrative. And there's a few other ways of getting money I am planning. So why get money? Money becomes upgrades. Upgrades become awesome ship. An awesome ship is required because the main hook of the game is that the entire game from start to ending credits will be less than an hour long. The game has no saving and it has permadeath. So if you die at any moment, it's game over and you start from the beginning. And that is because I want it to feel like this epic adventure where if you make it, even if you make it to the last boss and get killed, you still basically finish the game. You'll get this ending credit screen and you'll see all of the stuff and I'll say good job and whatever. Because it's all about just creating an adventure. I don't know if my working title is Spacefaring Adventure. I'm not sure if that'll be the final name, but I want it to be a spacefaring adventure. And the inspiration is actually from Settlers of Catan, kind of. Because I saw an interview with the guy who created that, and he said he wanted a game that could be played in an hour, where everyone, by the end of the game, has kind of created their own story. They've developed, they have like trading partners, and yeah, stuff like that. And I thought that's pretty cool. So it got me thinking about how can I take the big open world concept that is so popular right now, with all the different ways of playing the game, have a beginning, a middle, and an end game, and package it all into one nice little digestible chunk. And this is what I've come up with. So I'm very excited about it. I hope you are too after hearing this, and I hope the videos that come after this will make a lot more sense. I'm actually recording this as like a sixth or seventh video in a series, but I'll put it in the front of the playlist just so people see it. So yeah, I think that's everything. I am doing this by myself. I'm doing everything by myself. I have a day job, so it'll take me a little while. But I am determined, 100% determined and convinced that this game will come out. And you can actually buy it, and I'll actually make money off of it, which is cool. I do have a person I know who's a pretty good musician, and I think I can convince them to make me a soundtrack. So it should be a wild ride. So yeah, any questions, leave them in the comments. I will answer them, and see you next time.